Good morning guys, I hope you are doing well. This video has been a long time coming. It's only been about 4 to 5 years I think to get to this project again after buying this motorcycle 5 years ago. Can you believe it? Where the heck has the time gone? I think I remember at the time I joked about this potentially being a retirement project. And here we are. Here is the old body on the slab and looking a little bit sorry for itself. It feels a little overwhelming, to be honest, as I see it like this, but I'm somewhat reassured by the fact that it was a relatively complete bike when I took it apart. And we haven't moved, and I haven't moved any of the parts during that time, or well, some of the parts anyway. As you'll see and may recall from previous videos, I had the metal parts chemically dipped and washed, and then I media blasted the frame. It still needs some work, as well as you'll see some of the parts are not completely stripped, and there's little nooks and crannies and recesses that still need to have the paint removed. These are most of the bare metal parts that you see here, and some of them have already got what they call flash rust that came probably a little while after I had them dipped, and I never painted them, but it's just another job to make sure that I get all this paintwork ready for paint. Rob Benko also did an amazing job with some of the paintwork, and specifically the headlight bucket, the oil tank with some fab work that he did there, and then the fuel tank. That was a bit of a mess, and so he's done a wonderful job, and that is almost getting ready to be primed again and then painted. And then I've also had the seat reupholstered. Shelby Schaffer did a fantastic job of the seat, and specifically finding them the right colour, and also there's two different types of material. One type of material for the sidewall and then another for the top of the seat. And I'll share more in an upcoming video of the seat again. Greg Poirier also rebuilt entirely the instruments for the bike, and again I'll show you those as I get towards that part of the rebuild. And then Glenn in Australia actually sent me the bars, would you believe it? These are original bars that he got off his Norton Manxman. And so I was extremely grateful to Glenn for sending those to me, and they're going to go back on the bike, no doubt. And then during the last few years I've also accumulated a few parts. Some are NOS, new old stock, and specifically these rims that I'm going to have respoked, of course. You may also remember from a previous episode many years ago that my friends Dave and Ronnie, we travelled up to north of Seattle to meet with Dean, and we picked up a rear mudguard for the Manxman. It's a brand new mudguard that he got years ago that he had rechromed, and this is a new old stock front mudguard for a Manxman as well. It may need to be rechromed, but it's in perfect condition in terms of the shape of it. But wait, there's more. Here's a collection of some polychromatic blue parts that I've been taking very good care of for these past few years. I've set these aside specifically so that they can help me in my quest for the elusive polychromatic blue paint. And I'm absolutely delighted to tell you that my friend Gary Livingston has actually found a paint match. And so I'll share that again, but I'm thinking that it's as close as you could possibly get to the original polychromatic blue that came on this Manxman. So I'd love to say, and I think I'm pretty confident in saying, that the paint search is now over, but we won't know until I've sprayed it on some more parts. But I've got the paint, so that's a huge hurdle overcome. Oh, and then just one more thing. I bought a second Manxman about 3 years ago, actually. Yeah, I've had this hiding at the back of the garage, and actually it's been outside under a tarp and protected for the last 6 months, something like that. But this is a 1962 Norton Manxman, and I got it back in April 22. I bought it specifically for some of the blue parts that would help me with the paint search, and also just for other parts as well. And can you believe it? I got it locally here in the Portland, Oregon area. It was on eBay, and I reached out to the seller, Steve, who's a really great guy, and we came to some arrangement. And so now I have 2 Manxman in the garage. So here's my plan, in case you were wondering. I'm going to take all these parts and I'm going to start loosely reassembling, dry fitting this number 1 Manxman, so that I can confirm that I have all the parts that will need to be painted together. And then once I have everything together and I've done an inventory, not only of the parts that I'll need, but also from a budget standpoint, I'll take it apart again, start ordering the parts, and then I'll know that I at least have all the parts that will need to be painted. And then I'll start preparing them for primer, and then ultimately for the blue paint. And then in the meantime, I also have the engine as well. So that's all the chassis and the framework, and I've still got the engine and the gearbox to work on as well. So this engine, it's been on my bench for years, as you know. It's been in the background of all my other bench videos for years, but hopefully at some point I'll start dismantling that. I left it together intentionally, so I don't even know what it's like on the inside. I just didn't want more and more boxes of spare parts lying around. And then here's the matching gearbox that again I need to inspect, probably take apart. So that's the latest for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. It's been a long time coming, and I'll see you in the next episode with this restart project for the Norton Manxman.